All right. We pick up from such a momentous shooting through a window.
Yeah, that explains the 3 years later.
I okay, I guess that's fair. I caught him. I caught him with that girl, and now we've come to duel.
Wait, did your memory loss happen between now and then?
That
Then?
that
I mean, I would
must
assume.
be. Yeah, like I don't know what's going on, but I clearly was here before. Now, I mean, this is clearly it's Van Helsing based on the live action movie. I think we were both discussing that you have much more of a memory of this movie than I do, even though I picked this game to be showed off.
Seems that memory of yours is
Weirdly,
getting
yes.
worse.
I don't know why it was burned into my memory so vividly. I blame being a teenage boy exposed to Kate Beckinsale and a lot of leather. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really have any other good excuses. I
I,
can't even say that I've seen it that many times.
no, just burned in
Like,
there. That's all you needed.
definitely probably more than once, but I mean, probably not more than I could count on one hand.
I distinctly remember going to show this movie to someone, putting it in, and they're just like, "This is the movie that everybody tries to show me when they show me a movie," and then we still watched it. I don't know what that says about the movie, but
Pathetic little quest.
Hugh Jackman is universally kind of fun.
Will reveal your past.
My past is none of your concern.
I think that's a good way to describe him, just as a person.
Yeah.
Of your mind.
Plus, do you know about there's a game that you play with him where you pretend he's Wolverine in every movie, but he's forgotten that he's Wolverine, which works very well with this movie.
After all,
I actually made a couple of jokes about that earlier.
I am a man of science.
It would explain the jumping.
The jumping is actually very similar to a Wolverine game.
Black. I destroy only what is evil. You are one for the killing of 12 innocent men, 6 women.
4 children, 3 ghosts, and a rather nasty massacre of.
Okay, so I guess he is the one who brought up all of the animal slaughtering.
Yeah.
Wasn't really in his list of charges.
Eat, doesn't he?
He's just kind of bragging about it.
Dead.
I mean, he is supposed to be somewhat of a brutish man.
You know what? I probably should.
Surprisingly quick on his feet.
No, it's true. I can't really say I've read the original tale.
I have not either.
I think I've just seen it reinterpreted so many other times. It's like, do you need to watch Casablanca? Like, you've seen it in every other movie since it's come out. How much value are you actually going to get out of that? Oh, I need the hat. I think we established the hat is essential.
Yeah, I don't even care if it accomplishes anything. They give you a bonus for it, and I don't think I can live with myself if you don't pick up that.
Okay. There's something that's like extra spooky about the fact that he's not very well animated.
That was clearly his ribcage. Like, I'm not wholly convinced that arm was ever properly attached to begin with.
Maybe this is one of the arms that he stole from the people that he killed.
I think you'll find the view from here most enchanting.
I mean, that would explain a lot.
It would be funnier if this game was developed by FromSoft. Like, oh, Godric the Grafted? This is his early form. Super dramatic.
I mean, the face is actually pretty close.
You know what? A few more years of beard growing, you're actually not far off.
He's got to get some cooler clothes, though.
He is in London. It's not a bad place to do it, but is Van Helsing Catholic? All right, I guess. Do we? I don't really know if he did
Yes.
anything. He's
Question
something.
mark?
I know he's like.
You have 26 orbs.
That's not enough to buy anything.
We need you to go to the east, to the far side of Rome.
Actually gonna have to read like the original Van Helsing literature after we finish this.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know if he has his own stuff originally. Like, I think he shows up in Dracula, and he's like the consult that they use to figure out how to kill the vampire after he's like already killed one of the girls in this family. I think that's how Dracula involves the original Van Helsing.
I need to learn more about Van Helsing.
Right?
It just like the movie reeks of comic book that was not very well adapted.
No, that's true. It probably was like some graphic take. And I think it's because Van Helsing, I don't think the copyright is still maintained. Like, anyone's allowed to use the character. I think the same's for Dracula now. So...
I do believe that is the case for Dracula.
So, yeah, it's a village full of undead. You understand. We're taking you through this wonderful game version of a 7 out of 10 movie on a good day. Would you agree with that? Maybe that's a little gracious. 6.5.
Yeah, I'd go 6.5.
Alright, bye, Ghost. I want to replay that, like, zoom in super serious, because I think it's actually a great reaction gif. Alright.
I mean, you've got the footage now.
I do. Oh, yeah, I already broke those breakables, game. Now, I have done the testing. Let's see if this is actually something. Okay, an enchanted blade. So, do I just special my things?
I don't think you can do that yet.
No, I don't have a blade.
You're gonna have to come back.
Okay.
You've got the blades, but I think you gotta come back after it gives you the alternate thingy.
The alternate thingies.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm throwing a lot of technical jargon out there.
It is.
Really need to dial it back.
You really, honestly, I'm on a thingamajig level only. Alright.
Alright.
Where? Okay. You know, the camera angle thing, I don't know about your opinion on this. Like, I played a lot of, like, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, where it does that to, like, make it scary. But in this, it just seems odd. Rabbit stream flip. Oh, I bet it's a minigun.
I think the important question there is the why of it. Because, I mean, again, the immediate comparison is Devil May Cry.
Yep.
Like, why did Devil May Cry do it? Was it a hangover from, trying to make it more of a horror game? Despite being very action-heavy?
Was it? I think it actually was. Like, it started as a spin-off for Resident Evil, didn't it?
Actually, it did.
Yeah, right?
It was originally planned as Resident Evil 4, but they decided it didn't fit. And so they just sort of kept throwing other stuff in there. I was looking into it earlier. questioning whether or not this was made off the same engine. And I guess there was a bug from Onimusha that greatly inspired some mechanics in
Okay.
Devil May Cry as well. So that's kind of a fun little bit of
Have you ever
trivia.
played that series, Onimusha?
I can't say that I have at length.
That would be
I feel
that
like
would be
I've played
interesting
demos
to
of it.
make you explore the game. I played them briefly, but it was kind of like back when all the games I was playing I rented, so you could only really play them for a week and then you had to give them back. But I remember that, like, the last one has the French guy from Leon the Professional. Which is kind of odd, but it was a weird game, so it fits.
Okay, now I think you can go back to the other area and try and cut that door.
You think? Because here's the thing. I know you can, not right now, but the game did include New Game Plus. So I think there
that's
are
fair.
secrets that you can't get right away. Yeah, like this shotgun thing. I don't have a shotgun.
No, you get it in the with your friggin' Catholic Spidey sense.
Yeah, I have a spiritual connection to shotguns. Combos. Okay. So it is very Devil May Cry. And I think, too, what's interesting, some people purport you can finish this game in 4 hours.
I'd believe it.
Then again, I guess that's not really all that impressive considering what speedrunners can do nowadays.
I feel like even Devil May Cry was like a 1-day ordeal once you kind of got everything down.
You know, that's true. Devil May Cry was kind of one of those games that you beat a bunch of times on different difficulties, wasn't it?
Yes. It was very big on unlocking the super hard difficulties. And being super sexy stylish while you did it.
Oh, you don't watch Demon Slayer, do you?
I do not. I don't know why.
Okay, well, I won't ruin the
I just-
anime for you, but I'll just talk about a character that I really like. He grew up as a ninja, but as a result of, like, kind of falling out with his ninja upbringing, he's decided to be, like, incredibly flashy to the point, like, where he wears gems, and he, like, has a boisterous personality and 3 wives, and it's just, like, he goes all this way to be, like, intensely loud as a person, and he's still super stealthy because he's just that goddamn good. But sometimes that's fun, just doing it because he can.
Oh, for sure. I like those kinds of characters. Like, it definitely seems like the kind of thing I would watch, but I just haven't been watching things lately.
That's
Like,
fair.
I think the last thing that I did watch was actually Ruby Volume 8, and then before
When is
that, I
more
couldn't
Ruby
even tell
coming
you.
out? That has nothing to do with Van Helsing, but it's still pertinent information.
I was looking into it. Volume 9 was delayed again to sometime in 2022.
Okay.
They're still hopeful that it'll get out sometime this year. I think something that I was seeing in the community was people theorizing sometime in August, which kind of makes sense because that does line up with kind of their usual release time, and it's right around RTX, which is when they like to announce things and get things all hyped.
No, that makes sense then.
Yeah, and I'm cool waiting for it as long as, the product comes out nicely and everyone's treated fairly while it's being created.
Oh god, I can feel the shotgun up there. Yeah, no, that's ultimately all you want. It makes me ask an interesting question, because obviously this game, and like a lot of games, I think like we were poking at Neverwinter Nights the other day, a lot of games have like big plagues as a basis of their story, and I'm curious if that's going to be considered like taboo now that we've actually had a plague.
I don't think so. I mean,
No, it's just
there are
another
games
day.
that have come out now.
That's fair.
I mean,
Half the games are about shooting Nazis in World War II, so that's fair. I wonder if there'll be games that are made about COVID, though. Has that happened yet? I don't know if that's happened yet.
I mean, outside of like indie, like all the stuff that was coming out, like, you know, wear a mask type, you know, 5-minute flash type games.
Yeah, but like
But
nothing
I don't
big.
think
That's
anything, yeah, like not like a real game.
like a stealth game or a level of Hitman where it's actually like way easier because no one wants to have human contact. They're all keeping 6 feet away. Be a good gimmick level. No, okay, that's something I've noticed that's a little bit weird, and maybe if you haven't been watching shows lately, you know, you haven't noticed as much. Like, but there are still some shows that are set in like 2021, 2022, and you know, I'll take like How I Met Your Father for example, because I've been watching that because they've started doing that. And it's like, it's set in New York in 2022. And they're like, oh my god, in 2022, you couldn't help but just go out and find somebody wherever you looked. Everybody was out and about. And like, motherfuckers, you still have to wear masks there. Like, you're not going out to clubs. You're chilling in your house, like, watching Netflix. You're watching this show. But, I don't know, it's just weird to have that, like, why didn't COVID happen in this world? Because it makes sitcoms like alternate reality shows. This guy knows what he's talking about.
It's definitely a little bizarre. Also, though, you gave me a great idea for some Hitman tomfoolery. Hitman Social Distancing Edition. You cannot make contact with your target, so no melee weapons, no garrote, anything like that. If you want to hide the body, you have to, you know, kill them by a ledge or something.
Nope.
And get them to fall in. Gotta social distance.
That would be important.
Hey, Agent 47 can't go friggin' assassinating people if he's got a nasty cough, right?
No, that's true. Although it would actually be fun, like, if you were playing a game where you had to do a lot of stealthing, but you had to play it day in, day out, and then you did get to a point where, like, yeah, your dude has a cough now, but he has to sneak through an embassy and assassinate, like, a senator or something, but he's coughing while dudes are trying to get him. Like, that could actually be, if you added it with other game mechanics, kind of interesting.
Yeah, like, sort of take almost an Elite Dangerous approach to, like,
Yeah.
almost a life simulator, but with a core focus on maybe, like, bounty hunting and assassinations and wet work and stuff.
I would
then,
love it.
You know, just, like, more day-to-day stuff could come up. Like, you know, you gotta pay your bills. You know, you got an apartment. You got bills to pay. You got food to eat.
Yeah.
If you don't take care of yourself, you can get sick. It makes doing your job harder.
No, totally. Or maybe even, like, I don't know, there's a lot of environmental chances. Like, you're paid to go illegally clear out, like, a crack den or something, but they might have a lot of contagious colds that you don't want to deal with if you get in close. It's better to bring a sniper. I don't know.
It's a crack den. You can toss a match.
That's fair.
That's too brutal.
I mean, even more cynically, it's a crack den. You can just wait. They'll probably do it themselves, but...
Fair enough, yeah.
You know what? That's not true, though. For anyone who's ever lived near a crack den, it is impressive the resilience of people who are trying to kill themselves with industrial chemicals every day. Like, almost, there's a little bit of respect there.
I don't know if respect is the word I would use. Maybe fascination.
I mean, like, you used to live downtown.
Like, I'm impressed. Oh, yeah.
You ever, like, see the same guy passed out, bent over like a scorpion? Like, that's kind of impressive.
Constantly.
This game does kind of feel a little bit inspired by Resident Evil 4, but I don't know if Resident Evil 4 had come out by this time. Did it?
I think it had, actually. Let me just double check that.
Yeah, why not? It's just like everything at a certain point, I think, was like very brown. There's a generation of games that were just all brown. And I think this was smack dab in the middle of them.
Oh no, it actually wasn't
Really, this preceded Resident Evil 4.
by a year.
Wow.
Well, a little less than a year.
So, you know what that means, Cody. Clearly Van Helsing influenced Resident Evil 4.
I mean, I can see it.
Can't you?
I mean, you just line up the protagonists. Masculine jawline, rippling muscles,
Yeah,
insane freaking shotgun ability.
that's true. I think the President's Daughter is somewhere here. If we look hard enough. Or maybe we'll take a really inspirational view. You know, anyone from here could be the President's Daughter. Someday. Actually, that doesn't work out. Maybe like they get adopted or something, but I don't see another way.
We are going after princess. You could call her princess.
This doesn't work.
Some kind of royalty.
Yeah, she's a princess to us.
Oh, she's not in this castle. Actually, I think it might be
Yeah,
exactly.
No, yeah, this is the castle I think she's in, right? Okay. You can see that the testing this game was worth it, because I have a good idea of what I am doing right this moment.
Yeah. I don't remember the rocket gargoyles from before. I remember the Stonty guys, but I don't remember you having random stone missiles fired at you.
Maybe they know that I tested, and it's important to them that I have an authentic experience no matter what.
Yeah, you did. I know you went down at least a few times by this point. Maybe it does the whole Devil May Cry thing where it, like, aw, maybe you want to try it on easy? Only it doesn't actually ask you. It's just like, nah, bitch.
I mean, this should be a new game, so I don't know if it would remember, but maybe it does. Cross memory card. Okay, get out of that barrel. Okay. Now, oh, okay. What's weird, I thought we tried the enchanted blade before. Oh, okay. Clearly there's a higher level of enchantment. Oh, okay. It's just like whatever that is. That's fine.
Yeah, the gimmick glyph. We don't even know what that does.
No. Okay. I think I'm gonna be better served with pistols. I hear electricity, but I don't see electricity. Do you?
No, but they are they apparently have electrical powers. Maybe it's that glowy portal gateway over there.
No, that's fair. I'm glad I get to see this part again. Just watching at their weird bodies makes it all worth it.
No one take that out of context.
It's the worst thing about recording.
Welcome to VASERIA. So nice to see you again.
Out of context, not much sounds good.
You know me?
You are not easily forgotten. Oh, he will be this time. Ever he has followed the
Like, it's so
prince of
Oh
cheap.
God!
Did you
I,
see it that
I
time?
forgot about the stomach.
From this moment forward,
That's just wrong. Alright.
It's like a human merged with a slinky.
The dream. You know what's fun? This game, mindset-wise, is actually very similar to Final Fantasy XIV, in that I should never stop casting. If I am not hitting the attack button, I am doing the wrong thing.
And that can be generally said for a lot of things.
No, it's fair. Not for Dark Souls.
I mean, that's usually my strategy for Dark Souls anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm very much so a kill them first kind of strategist.
That is a pretty effective offense. Oh, okay.
Hey, you know, you are about to prove well enough that, you know, it can't kill you if it's dead.
No, this is very true. I think I
We're
kind
gonna
of
make Final Fantasy
iframes.
14 comparisons. You know, doing damage is just mitigating future damage. Quote, Jocat. Fucking legend.
It's funny how many people Jocat has touched. That's not something you should take out of context. But it really, he has. He's taught so many people to play so many different games. I think the Monster Hunter ones he's done are pretty infamous as well. Although I've played so much Monster Hunter, like my pride won't let me watch it. Oh.
I mean, that one's not even so much. Like, I would say the Final Fantasy XIV videos are actually a lot more informative. The Monster Hunter ones are definitely more just ripping on, you know, the little things.
Fair enough. Well, I did it with my hat and touch. No, I think this is actually Hugh Jackman, but this isn't actually Kate Beckinsale.
That just saved your life. The least you can do is human me
I
with a little
wouldn't be
conversation.
surprised.
You killed a vampire. No one has done that in over 100 years.
Well, I'd say that was a good thing, wouldn't you?
Vampires only kill what they need to survive. Now they will kill for revenge.
You tell me which is better.
Wait. I was sent by the Vatican.
Still feel like I know that voice though.
I believe it's the other way around. You were sent to help me.
I believe you.
So where do we begin?
If I knew that, it would be done already.
Surely there must be something.
Trying to
some
place it.
ancient knowledge passed down through your family.
My brother Velkin spent years here in the church looking for such knowledge. I believe he was close to finding it until he was bitten by a werewolf 6 months ago.
Oh my god, who are you?
Right?
There.
She has
in the
to have.
library.
Sounds like she's done other characters that I've heard before. Alright.
This thing is going to be stubborn about, and I'm just going to think about it until I get it, rather than looking it up.
That's the healthy way to do it, I'm pretty sure.
The hunchback known as Igor makes his home
Okay.
among the ruins of an old castle.
Well, you know, making good progress, so let's see what Mission 3 has. Why not?
Valerius and his
Yeah.
ancestors. Destroy
3 is the sacred number.
and you have taken the first
If Zelda's
step
taught me
in
anything.
your freedom.
Okay. Well,
Hey.
I'm gonna... What?
These are books, you savage!
They're indestructible books.
Fair enough.
Oh, okay, I have to actually look through these books. History of the Holy Order, okay. Is it the book on, there's no book on the table. Is it this? Oh,
Ah, you have found the secret door.
that is a wobbly bookshelf.
Oh, geez.
OSHA would not be happy. Off we go.
Is that the Romanian?
No, I guess what is the Romanian authority back in the times?
I think it may have been God.
Oh, well, then I guess it's allowed. I am from the Vatican.
Yeah, he passes some pretty shady fucking shit.
Damn. I didn't know God was such a slumlord. I mean, I could have guessed it from my entire existence, but it's interesting to know it's confirmed. I will say I actually do like these camera angles. They're a little frustrating, but they're kind of cool. Would I prefer to just have my own camera? Yes.
Yeah, see, and it's moments like that where it really does start to impact a more action-heavy game.
Oh, is this another cheat? Okay. Yeah, I guess I have an inventory. What are the cheats I've unlocked? I had to restart. See an ancient VH. Okay, yeah. I guess I haven't unlocked these things.
Oh my god, we were just talking about Big Head.
The classics, right? Big head mode, big melee, so it's just a big sword. Color body. Changes color with each hit. I mean, yeah, why not for a little bit?
Yeah.
Ghost Fiend. The enemies take on ghostly form. Should I fight ghosts, Cody?
Sure. Let's watch them be all weirdly translucent and blue.
Nice. Alright, I'm
Oh,
Technicolor.
you're supposed to change color on hit, I thought.
I'm in constant emotional pain. It never stops. That's okay. Were those ghosts? I don't know. I actually killed them too quick. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, the camera wouldn't let you look at them.
No. Oh. Ah.
Now it's crossbow sets. Machine crossbow.
And it's from the 80s. So that's convenient. Alright. I don't know why I'd be impressed with this after having an automatic handgun and a shotgun, but yeah.
Yeah, neither of which really seem to require ammunition.
Right? Is this... Okay, this is a very fast crossbow.
Dude, you can jump like 12 feet. You can climb that.
Right, it's not even all that hard to climb a fence like that. Like,
Now, I could get up that. Just climb on top of the angel statue and go over the pillar.
this is...
I think you forgot one of the life things.
Oh.
Did you grab the one that was on the roof in the first area? The side roof they had to jump on?
I think I did miss that secret thing, yep. So, I'll just have to play better. Oh, okay, it's... Oh, it's a life replenisher, not like a life increase. What's the yellow thing? Oh.
This is the weird keyhole thingy.
Oh, that's when the... What? Okay. That's when the camera gets annoying. Like, going around corners like that, that's painful. I guess now I'm staying in color. Oh, this is where I came from,
Yeah.
wasn't it? I'm going backwards.
And I guess they do look kinda ghosty.
The owls did. I guess I don't want to jump down.
Go for it, I dare you.
Okay, I mean, I think it's just where I came from, isn't it? But Oh, no, it doesn't make a difference. The huge risk of having jumped down. 1/2 of a life increaser. And even on this side, it's just cemented into the floor, this poor gate.
Yeah, it actually does look like it. Those posts look pretty thoroughly in the ground on there.
Well, interesting.
Yeah, I guess they're actually pretty transparent.
So I guess...
Did I miss an important explanation at some point or another? What is with the red, like, stopwatch thingy on the upper left?
Oh yeah, right? I don't know myself.
I keep
It's
seeing
just
it go
there.
around and I have no idea what it's for.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with, like, charging attacks or something, but I couldn't actually tell you. Oh, okay, so this is the start of this whole level. I don't think I've missed anything. I don't think it expects you to, like, go back. It's not a game like that. I mean, it's nice to get a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, these are pretty ghostly skeletons. But I don't.
Can
Okay,
you,
now there's.
like, actually jump over that?
Oh, geez. Okay, give me a second.
That's not a place you want to stand.
Bad times are occurring. Which is funny, because I think I kind of, like, took care of these guys the first time, no concerns, but that's okay. We have been more cautious, clearly.
I wonder if there's any like, breakables you need to find, get the key for that thing to go through.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Like, I must have... There's something I need to smack. That's usually how it is in these games.
I mean, my instinct would be to go for the gravestones, and I don't know what that says about me as a person, but I'm pretty sure they would have broken by now if that was a possibility. Yeah.
Okay, well, I won't leave this area. Maybe... No? Okay. Rick Bradshaw. Prepare for death and follow me. Okay. I can read graves. Drank himself to death. Now that's the spirit. That's dorky. That's a dad joke.
That's... I'm 90% sure of what? Because if you're only 90% sure they're dead, like, I feel like that extra 10%'s not hard to come by.
No. Right? Okay. Is this like a... I need to... Okay. I was worried I was going to, like, use something from my inventory. And clearly we can see this one is all golden. Oh, jeez. I had to shoot
Actually had to shoot it. Oh my god.
That is... Okay. Sure.
I feel like I wonder if it has to be the crossbow or if you just needed to shoot the first one we ran into better.
Yeah, is she intended to be a ghost right now?
Can assume that she's an enemy from that. Although
She's doing ghosty stuff, so maybe?
these like water nymphs?
Maybe the ghost thing is a little confusing. Oh, wow. Okay, they hit hard.
Which is pretty impressive considering they don't have physical forms.
Yeah. I guess it all depends on the game, too. Like, ghosts and... You know, these aren't too bad for ghosts. They're fake ghosts. But, D&D ghosts, they will suck your soul. And older versions of the game, they can take experience from you. Which is pretty punishing.
Yeah. Played some like old school dungeon crawlers like that too.
Ooh. Oh, you know, I'm gonna turn out the ghost thing really quick.
That's straight up just deflecting your arrows.
Yeah, it is.
Your arrows do nothing against stone.
Oh, I guess that's fair. Okay. Let's get a shotgun. And you know what?
That seems like a pretty effective.
I have a health recover thing, so let's use it. I don't want to die. Cool. Okay, so you kind of got to change weapons. It's trying to make me do things.
Yeah, no, that's always nice.
I think in little environments like this, it doesn't actually look too bad. Like, you know, obviously it's a game of its age, and I recall it actually looking pretty good when I first played it. But that was back on a square resolution TV, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think something that's easy to forget when we go back to play these games is how much they were depending on the CRT to sort of visually buffer a lot of things.
No, that's fair. Well, there's still a lot of folks who, like, think the best way to play Super Smash Bros. Melee is on a CRT, right?
I can see it.
I don't really, like, I can see the differences, but I like using TVs that, like, won't kill me if they fall over. So I guess she was a ghost, just a different type? Because she has a hole in her body. Oh man, that's a... Again, just statements that
I
context.
kind of remember these from the movie.
Yeah, right?
It could be just like a implanted memory now, though, because they're in the game.
Also, I think it's interesting, the shotgun is way more effective the closer I am, and while sure, that's realistic, it adds it to the list of games that have shotguns that, like, become ineffective after 5 feet, which is just not how shotguns work in real life.
Yeah. Like, I definitely agree with damage fall off to a point, but the problem is when it's not based on, like, individual pellets actually hitting a thing.
Yeah, totally.
You know, we have the technology now, but in this case, it's just, you know, the one thing going forward, and as it goes forward, it's got damage fall off.
Yep. No, there weren't a lot of games in this day and age that were, like, modeling their bullets and actually tracing them. I think, Max Payne was one, but I don't know of any others off the top of my head.
I can't say. This was kind of before I was really into shooters.
What got you into shooters?
I mostly just fucking other people around who were playing them.
Fair enough.
First one I think I really got into was Battlefront.
Oh, sure. Like the very first one.
Yes,
Nice.
on PlayStation 2.
Explosive tipped weapon. Okay, I don't have an explosive tipped weapon. So is there a non-explosive tipped weapon path?
I was gonna say that tree looks
No.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you could jump over that.
Right? Oh, man, okay. I have an example, but what do you think is the most, like, egregious, like, you can't step over this thing? Because for me, it stands out, it's Parasite Eve, if you've ever played that.
I was actually just talking about that with Nicole the other night. I kind of think that deserves a bit of a remake or a remaster.
Oh, absolutely. That's a fantastic
Love to see
game.
it. That being said, I really don't remember that much about it. I think I played it all the way through once when I was like 9.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, that worked. Nope, Parasite Eve. Yeah, I think it. I don't know if it had a sequel, but I know it.
It was
did,
not
right?
as well received.
That's totally fair.
From
I
what
remember
I
it had a
remember.
PSP version too,
That could very well be true.
but it was like very different. It was like mostly like a dungeon crawler, if I recall. Also, this is like random Dark Souls boss. What happened here? Okay, let's try this. Yeah? Okay, that's pretty effective.
Oh yeah. I feel like this was the weapon he ended up using the most throughout the course of the movie.
I do think you're totally right. It's the one I remember, like, looking the best,
Shit.
too.
Got some Jedi motherfuckers over here.
Oh, okay. Can I just, like... Okay, I was gonna say, if I can hang out on the ledge without any issues, that's not great.
I mean, not great for them.
I guess that's fair. Why would I worry? Okay, now I'm worried.
Yeah, you got a lot of reasons to worry right now.
I don't even... Is this a way out? Okay.
Love it. Hell, when you just straight up leave.
Yeah, like, why fight a dude if you don't have to fight a dude?
Gabriel,
I can talk to
it
ghosts.
is I, Valerius. Gabriel, you must let your... Be gone, ghostly swine.
Okay.
You kind of remember that from the movies as well, but they're in the mansion when it happens.
Well. If it isn't the murderer of the Master's bride, you've got quite the nerve showing your face around here.
Look who's talking.
The Master will be most pleased to have his revenge, but not be...
Alright, I guess Dracula lives in a castle.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa! When the fuck did this guy get a mortar?
And teleportation abilities? Igor.
Right, he was holding back in the film.
Yeah. This is like the novelization where the author was like related to Igor or something. They really want to make him look good. Okay. It's kind of a shame I have to do this fight with so little health, but that... Oh! Hey, that is a shame, isn't it?
Well, brand new lease on life.
Yeah. Get it all back right at the start. There we go. Okay. I wonder...
Alright, now you're fucked, Igor.
Are the guns more effective? I think they are.
I mean... Yeah. I could see that logic.
Oh, okay.
Guns being a little bit more effective against, you know, humanoid targets.
Yeah, is it a Witcher thing?
I think it is.
You know, I always, like... I understood the logic of that game, except for... Why not just use a silver weapon for everyone? Like, silver kills humans just as good as regular steel.
It does, but it's a lot more malleable of a material. And
Yeah,
so
okay.
against the human, again, we have to kind of assume some physiology here, but most monsters aren't wearing armor or clothing or anything that would really mar the blade outside of maybe their bones.
Sure.
And humans also fight with weapons themselves, and what do you think's going to happen taking a silver sword up against an iron sword?
Okay, you know what? That actually does make a fair point. It'd probably, like, get sheared or chipped super easily, I guess.
Yes.
Alright. Oh, do I have a double boss fight? What's going on? No.
No, he just has to appear and be menacing for a bit so that he can be thoroughly underwhelming later.
Yeah, that's important.